Hi, and welcome back to the Blue Honor vlog. I'm Kay Williams, author of op-dec Operation Deceit, Blue Honor, for which my vlog and my blog are named for, and the Trilogia trilogy, a dark fantasy paranormal series. So wow, it is December. A whole year has passed. This is incredible. 12 whole episodes from January to December. I've been going over old open book blog hop prompts to see, because it's been about 10 years since I wrote those, to see where I fall out on that, if my answers are still the same, because as you know, growth and change in life happens, and you think maybe a different way from even just 10 years ago. Sometimes things are so solid, so set with you, and it's just a given that it's pretty much the same. But things change, right? And we have to adapt. So it's a great way to look back and just kind of explore the growth and stuff that I've had, my writing has had, maybe your writing has had, and maybe give you food for thought. I know I haven't been politically silent. As you know, I have a page called Political K. My BlueSky account is definitely dedicated to my political leanings. I am a historian by trade in writing, and I have a lot of opinions. A lot of opinions based on the history and stuff that I understand. And of course, I am a lifelong learner. I continue to learn a lot of things. German language was probably one of my most recent forays into learning, and that went pretty well. I wish that I had more practice out there with learning German. And just being able to use it, because if you don't use it, you lose it. It's true. It's true. And I love the fact that, I kind of felt bilingual there for a time. Don't ask me now, because I've gotten so separated during the time of raising my daughter from practicing and learning that language, because it's an ongoing thing. I would like to practice and learn Mandarin Chinese, and I spend quite a bit of time over on RedNote interacting with actual Chinese people and trying to learn. Pinyin might sound easy, and if you can immerse yourself, or you're already in that collegiate space and you can focus on it like a course, and say, I work full-time and I'm raising my daughter, so I get distracted. Once I'm retired, I think it will be a lot easier to focus entirely on that. I won't have to remember the things that I did for work. I just have to remember to feed myself at that point. So hopefully I will be able to practice my German. It comes up now and then, and I surprise myself that I still remember things and can form some sentences still, which is pretty epic. I love that. That is a goal that I had from childhood because of the 99 Luftballons. If you don't know, I'm Gen X. So now you do. Some of the great entries that we went over this year were my top rituals as a writer and as a person. The things that I do pretty much every day to kind of get my mind in the game, or to keep myself, going on projects. In February, I had talked about pitching your work, which is really relevant and important to anybody who has come here as a writer looking for information about publishing and writing itself. That episode from February 2025, it is, vlog 103. That will go into great detail about how to write your pitch letter. And yes, you will have to write a letter. It's going to be in an email. I understand we don't write paper letters anymore. Some people do. So pitching your work to an agent, manager, maybe you want to write a screenplay and you're trying to pitch that out to film companies, etc. I have a lot of good insight. One of my pitch letters made it into a published book about specifically that thing, and that was my agent at the time. She loved my letter. Obviously it worked, so I've had success in writing pitches. I've had some success writing screenplay pitches and getting the attention of producers. It is very difficult, just so that you know, it is very difficult because money is involved to get someone to bite down and say, let's greenlight this. Okay, that's the thing that you're going for, and you're going to need to be able to take a hell of a lot of rejection in the meantime. So you want to listen to what they're saying back to you. Hopefully they're giving you good feedback and that you can hear what they're saying to you, because in a lot of cases they don't want to fight. They don't want to fight. They don't want a bad reputation for being rude or anything. And writers are not known for taking rejection very well, because it's your baby and it is somewhat personal. It feels personal. Anyway, moving on. I talked in March about change and adaptability in your progress as an author. April was talking about the site itself and what my site Blue Honor is, because a lot of people get confused. They think I'm pro-cop when I'm a leftist, which is funny. He's like, no, that is the name of my book. It's about cops. And they get like really bent. And I'm like, no, that would be about the federal troops in the Civil War who wore blue uniforms. Thank you. And also, it mostly is about Emily and her big blue eyes and the honor of the young men fighting that war and the things that they stand up against in that, the secession of the states and fighting for America, fighting for Hetty, who is a formerly enslaved person, so they see firsthand what slavery has done. Joseph, of course, comes from Maryland, so he has seen much more of it, but this brings it home to other people who would be padded from that, and it's an incredible dose of reality, kind of like we're seeing with Palestine, and how difficult it is to view those videos coming out of there and feeling helpless to make a change and speaking up, and people getting often violent back with us for saying, hey, genocide is not okay. I mean, who would have thought that you would get pushback for saying genocide is not okay? But if you look at history, what United States, European settlers did to the indigenous population and bringing in slaves, it tracks, doesn't it? Yeah. Anyway, so I talked about in May describing a rainy day activity that I had, and in June, TV shows that were my favorite from childhood that I would love to bring back. MASH was my favorite. I wrote a letter to my readers in July, which you should read. You should definitely read that. That was a great letter. There are two. Okay, so there's one from 2016. And that's Open Book Blog Hop 79 from January 30th of 2017. And then there is one from this year as well. So, or more recent. I think it was this year. Maybe it was late last year. So after that, my favorite song and the background of why that is my favorite song, and has that changed since 2017, 2016? I'll give you a hint, it hasn't. It's the best song of all time, my all-time favorite. So, let's see, in September we talked about how I relax and what my go-to relaxations are. That's another important one for authors, and I would highly recommend going in and watching that one. That was number 110, and that was teaching about the importance of relaxing and re-energizing yourself and finding ways to come back to your writing with new eyes, new enthusiasm, and keeping that energy up. Because let me tell you, pitching and editing and all the business stuff that goes along with writing can wear you down, can really put a cramp in your side for going. You know, that runner's cramp. Oh God, I can't run anymore. You're going to get emotional, you're going to get upset, you're going to get depressed, you're going to go through all the things, and it can really dampen your spirits and keep you from those projects that you want to work on. And it's like, I was so excited about working on this, and now I'm like, what? You will go through that. I've gone through that. It's okay. But these are ways to help you kind of think about it and maybe avoid getting lost in that, because I got lost in that for a long time. I mean, I had an artist who had the audacity to say, maybe you didn't love it enough. And that was so deeply offensive. I love it so much. I can't even tell you. But when something constantly brings you pain, you let it go. You don't just hold your hands in a fire and let them burn off. I mean, let's not be foolish here. So, and this was somebody who had everything handed to them. So she had no idea where I was coming from. She never had to fight for anything in her day. Her parents owned a gallery, and her paintings were put up. And everybody thought she, the sun rose and set in her asshole. No, she was just an So, moving on, I talked in October about some Halloween traditions and the stuff that my family and now with my daughter I continue to do. Fall being my favorite time of year. And in November, I talked about traditions around harvest and Thanksgiving and the ideology around that, and people getting bent out of shape. Oh no, we can't even have Thanksgiving anymore. Yeah, of course you can have your turkey and your feast and whatever it is and your football game, but maybe have some awareness, God forbid, that we grow as human beings instead of act like children and have things set as little fairy tales because we can't handle the truth. And then here we are in December, and I'm just reviewing everything. It being a great year. The vlogs got longer. I think I got more comfortable. I've been working on not umming my brains out through most of these. There I go again. So Duck has been continuing. I've been doing the drawings regularly. You can get this logo on a mug, on a t-shirt. I do calendars, and those aren't for sale because I haven't quite figured out how to do that print on demand and like set up a calendar, make it available for everybody. But I do that through Snapfish for myself. So I may figure that out in the future because they're cute and it's a lot of fun to put that together. And the more drawings that I have, the more likely that is to happen. So at this rate, because I do work full time and the vlog and my blog and the writing has to take a second seat to raising my daughter and working to provide for us. So as my career is actually coming up to the end of it, so I can retire at 55, which is incredible, and we'll see if I can financially retire at 55 and go from there. So that will be absolutely incredible. We'll see where we are in 5 years because I'm tired. So tired. My baby will only be in high school, which will be crazy. And I know a lot of people look at me and go, there is no way that you are 50. And yeah, it's true. If I get close, you might be able to see some of the pores. I know, I got this line. I don't have a lot of lines on my face. Moisturize, kids, moisturize. If you love the sun, make sure you use sunscreen. I might be able to see my grays in there because I haven't been coloring my hair a lot lately. I've been letting it go more and more in between because it's just the same color anyway, except for the grays. So hopefully last year wasn't too awfully bad for you. Politically, it has been a nightmare. It has been an emotional roller coaster. It has been very taxing. As a survivor of CSA, childhood sexual assault, SA, etc., it has been doubly as emotional and very jarring, but not surprising to me the way that people rally around individuals who have committed assault and tend to protect them. As survivors can tell you, that is pretty much the norm. They blame us. They blame anyone but the individual because somehow they have made it part of their identity, this person, or their friendship with this person, or something about this person deeply equates to their personal identity, and therefore they've internalized this thing and it makes them feel responsible as well, like, oh well, I didn't do anything about it. No, you didn't, and you're not doing anything now. You're protecting them. And it's like, you know, when you face people with the fact that 99.999 accusations are true, and they're concerned about this 0.002 or 2%, whatever it is, it's very small, narrow margin of people who retract, very specifically, retract their claims and drop charges. That doesn't mean that they lied. And for some reason, people always call that a lie. The unbelievable amount of anguish that a survivor is put through to follow up on charges through the legal system is often insurmountable for them. It's like going back through it a million times and just re-experiencing it over and over again. And it doesn't get easier. People get mad, frothing, angry mad at you for saying anything, and they're like, why can't you just shut up about it and just deal with it on your own or get over it? And it is incredible to me the way that survivors are spoken to. This is a violation of your body. And if you haven't been through it, and I really, really despise the people who have been through it and do this stuff. You are the worst of the worst. You are the worst of the worst. How dare you? And in a lot of cases, when you stand up for the perpetrators or stand up for the traditional perpetrator and say, no, it happened to me, I don't believe you. I cease to believe you because I cannot believe that somebody who has been through it would talk like that and undermine their fellow survivors in that way. Create a situation that we have to all go through instead of making it easier for them to come forward, making people accountable. And it's just like caping for monsters, and it's alarming. But it also tells me why this stuff happens. It's always been swept under the rug. I was like 3 years old. It was my grandmother's significant other. Am I at fault? Because I sat on his lap at 3. Oh, but I need to stop talking and not go over this stuff. But there's other people out there who have gone through this There's mothers who need to know that this can happen. Grandmothers who need to know that this can happen. That there are predators. There could be predators in your home. And what things to look out for. But you don't want that known. So are you enabling them? Because in the next breath, you'll be like, but not all. We need to be prepared. If the horrible thing can happen, we need to know what the signs are so that we can prevent the horrible thing. Yeah? It is a safety concern? Or are you just willing to crapshoot this and let the dice fall for your kid? Holy hell. I'm consistently confounded. Consistently confounded about people who want us to stop talking about it, or people who can just erase it and say, it's not really an issue for me. You're an issue for me. Wow. You are an unsafe person. Just so you know. Don't ever look the other way. If somebody is accused, then let the trial happen. If they're innocent, it will prove. There's an awful lot of people out there horribly invested in the enabling of sexual abuse. And we should be questioning why. Those people should be watched very carefully. So, hopefully that is a lesson that we can learn from this year. That should be a line in the sand. The line in the sand. And we are not crossing this line. We're not backing up from this. But it's very telling when that is not your line in the sand. Who and what you are. So thank you for volunteering that information anyway. Yeah. So this year has been great in getting a list together of people. But, unfortunately the FBI isn't exactly being run by people who care right now. Maybe someday. But that's what we survivors keep fighting for, regardless of gender. We are out here fighting to make sure that this stuff doesn't happen again. People are held accountable and that the laws are changed. And remember, kids, a convicted rapist's sentence shouldn't be shorter than the sentence for somebody who gets an abortion that is declared illegal. Because that's happening. May there come a day that karma delivers. Well, happy December. Happy holidays. Hopefully you have happier things to think about. Hopefully by the time that this premieres and releases, we've had some great news. Those swelling cankles and everything. Anyway, I will see you back here next year. And we're going to keep going with a review of these blog hops because they are great prompts. And you can subscribe to these videos. Don't forget to do that. But you can also go to authorkwilliams.com and subscribe to my newsletter. It isn't a Substack yet. It's a free newsletter though. And it'll come every Friday to your inbox. And it will have the new blog hop responses. They tend to be pretty short, a couple pages. Just authors answering questions, and you can click on me and the other authors and read about what we get up to, writing advice, etc. It's good stuff, and that's why I review it here on the vlog, because it's good and important, fun prompts in many cases. All right, I will see you next time. Don't forget to read banned books.